Hey guys, welcome to the new episode of Retrospect. Today is going to be a little different. We're going to have a look at some interesting stats that we see on X, all crypto related. And I thought this meme was pretty hilarious. It feels like Bitcoin has been ranging for about 4 months now. And yeah, it made an all-time high, but it never had that blow off top that everyone was expecting. Some heavy liquidations and then the price just giving people some hope to buy back in and then falling. And it feels like retail's kind of losing hope while the institutions are buying in big numbers. So I thought this meme was quite appropriate. So let's have a look at the chart. I mean, these are lines that I drew back in June or July when Bitcoin was ranging anything from $98,000 to $111,000. And you'll see in July it kind of moved out of that range and went on to make an all-time high at 126,000. But the reason for these memes coming out is, remember that in July we were at 111 and we kind of moved out of that range that we were in for quite some time from about Mayish, and today we're on about 109,900, which is just about where we exited that range back in July. So everyone seems to be holding their breath and looking for very interesting ranges. Some ranges that I marked back then was about 108, 400. I know some people on YouTube have been talking about 108, 700. I think that's an important level. If we drop below that, we could see further drops. I've also seen crypto YouTube talk about the $105,000 range. I mean, I marked it as 105.5. And these, I think, are two ranges that if we close convincingly below these levels, we could see something like a 98,000 back to the bottom of that previous range that we exited in mid-July. And 98,000 does seem to be a very popular number that I've seen on YouTube as well. That seemed to be the bottom of the previous range that we were in. On the flip side of things, I have seen people talk about 112,000. I marked it 111.9. If we do close convincingly above those levels, things could look a lot more rosy for Bitcoin and the crypto market as a whole. Let's get into X now. Shout out to Trader AG that posted this. His analysis does seem to correlate to what I was saying. He talks about a value area high of 118. He talks about a point of control just under 113,000, which correlates with what I said earlier on the lines that I drew way back then. And he also mentions 105,400, which also correlates to one of the lines that I drew back in June. He seems to be a little more bearish than me. He believes he's going to take a short if Bitcoin hits 112.8 to $113,000. And he believes that if it pushes through that level, it's going to be a rosy November for us. Speaking of November, this is the heat map for the monthly returns on Bitcoin. And yeah, the post-halving year, October, kind of went against the trend this year. We closed at a minus 3.69% decrease in price. And everyone was saying that the year after the halving, the October, is always a really, really strong month. You can see it in 2017, we had 47%. 2021, we had a 40% increase in price, but not this time. So it seems like that's the pattern until it isn't. And similarly, I'm already seeing posts about November being an excellent month for Bitcoin, averaging 42.51% increase in price. But note how there isn't really a pattern based on the halving year. So anything can happen, guys. As usual, do your own research. You're responsible for your own investments. And always remember, the patterns exist until they don't. Let's have a look at the Bitcoin ETFs. Beginning of the week looked really good. We got about $350 million pour in from Sunday to Tuesday, and then Wednesday to Friday, that was all taken back and more, with about $1.1 to $1.2 billion of Bitcoin outflows. But then again, there is a lot of emphasis on these ETF flows, and at the end of the day, 70% of retail investors still own Bitcoin, while only 7% are held by these ETFs. So I think sometimes people put a bit too much emphasis on these flows, but they are important, but not as much as people think. The other post I saw on X, which was interesting, is somebody posted that Treasury securities purchased by the Federal Reserve in the temporary open market operations pumped to $29 billion into the banking system yesterday, the highest ever in 5+ years, and they claim that Powell's hawkish talks were just a bluff. I wouldn't read too much into this, and like some people posted, bailing out regional banking crisis isn't the same as the Fed opening the floodgates to QE. Someone also mentioned that it could be just a short-term repo to ease end-of-month funding stress, not a new quantitative easing cycle. Another post that I thought was quite interesting was the crypto monthly exchange volume. Shout out to Carl Dupes. Yes, October was rough, and there were record liquidations, slow bleed, and sentiment was in freefall. But while the traders suffered, exchanges thrived with $2.1 trillion in volume, which is the second highest month of 2025. You can see in December 2024, it almost touched $3 trillion. So yeah, that's what's so attractive about crypto, right? Is the volatility. And people just look at prices dropping and moan about that price dropping, but others see an opportunity in this volatility. Last but not least, post by Pampit. He says that Solana's revenue for 2023 was approximately $13 million, but this figure dramatically increased to $2.85 billion over the subsequent 12-month period, which was October 2023 to September 2024. That's a 220x growth, driven by a diverse ecosystem, including decentralized exchanges, DeFi, meme coins, and emerging verticals like DeepIn and AI applications. Now, I've heard some prominent crypto YouTubers say that Solana is just a bunch of garbage. I won't mention names, but these figures are pretty crazy. And I seriously don't think that that kind of growth is driven by luck and garbage meme coins. But I'd love to hear what you guys think. Hit a like on the video, make some comments, let me know what you think was the most interesting insight from the video today. And please, please, please subscribe to my channel for future updates. Have a great rest of your weekend, guys. Bye.